Hi there. So I need to make some video really quickly concerning some validation and documentation of some dreams that I had. Now, for many years now, decades basically, I've been unable to remember my dreams. Very, very rarely could I remember a part of my dream, like maybe twice a year. But last night it seems that there was a blockage on that, and there were a couple of interesting figures that showed up in my dreams. And so, sorry, excuse me if I eat during this. I've got to go take care of some business at a protected place and secure technology. But I'm thinking of cream cheese right now. If you catch my drift. This isn't what I should be eating. Really. Not what I should be eating, but I have to put something in my stomach to be able to do this task. And again, like I said, thinking of cream cheese. So, a particular reader showed up in my dream, and I've forgotten a lot of the details of my dream. I need to, when I'm remembering my dreams, document them. It could be nothing. It could just be that I was sort of irritated by a statement made concerning using someone's words, and words are words. They're in the Webster's dictionary. Anyone's free to use them. But the thing about this reader is that this reader is picking up on my story quite a bit, even getting names of some of the actual key players involved in the last trap at the last place of employment that I was involved in. But the thing that's highly concerning, and why I mentioned that this reader showed up in my dreams last night as I think of my cream cheese and I eat it, is that what's super concerning about it is that when I go on this reader's videos, about half of the comments are blocked from me. And I know that somebody's picking up on my story, and I know that the script is being flipped with these karmic characters, key players. But what is interesting and legally significant concerning all that is that it does have to do with illegal activity and fraud and theft of trust fund, inheritance, whatever. So that's just like, I don't remember the details of that dream. I remember there was a lot of really thick competition concerning my energy and hers in the dream. And that's about all the details I remember at this point in the day. But like I said, it's concerning because I feel like the YouTube profiles that are commenting on this reader's page are highly significant, as the YouTube profiles that block me, I feel like, are involved in the whole thing. So there's that. And then the other character, figure, whatever, that showed up in another part of my dream is a naturopath, a local naturopath that is friends with somebody in my family. Her daughter and my niece were very, very close and very good friends. And almost 10 years ago, I had a few bad weeks, where, usually I've only had a few very short stints. My symptoms trace way back earlier than that, from when my daughter was a toddler, when I started to get the enlarged, swollen, weepy wounds, and my life started to kind of go downhill. And it was also following a Nicaraguan trip. So I think there's multiple things involved here. But this naturopath, she sort of tried to get in a very sneaky way and say that she cared and was concerned about me and my situation. So she was willing to help me and treat me for free. So I didn't sign anything with her, concerning HIPAA that I can think of. Maybe I did, I don't remember. But she was the first one to try to say that my physical things that are happening to me and have been happening to me for a couple decades now in a severe way, she was trying to say that they weren't happening, and was trying to get me to deal with, a mental health organization in town that is not top level as to who I need to see and speak to concerning my matters, you know, and like as opposed to the neuropsych that actually cleared me in a sane way. And this is all really important stuff because, you know, the fact that I've been cleared, my sanity has been cleared and it's fully intact and fully there, releases my family from having any right whatsoever to interfere with my life, to make decisions on my behalf. I also have other, documentation with other mental health professionals. And basically what they have told me is that there is no way that my family can step in and make decisions on my behalf. Now, when I did, and I brought this up in other videos, when I did apply for Social Security disability income, I tried to make my daughter, who's like really the only family member that I can actually trust, be my, it always evades me the terminology and the phrase, my power of attorney. I tried to give my power of attorney officially and get that set up officially and legally with this particular attorney. And he said at first that he would do that. However, as the situation progressed and he found out the truth of what I'm dealing with, every time I would bring it up, he would sort of beat around the bush, put it off. And so it never really got set up in a legal way. But, you know, as this video posts, this is legal documentation that if I were to be unconscious, my daughter is the only one that can make decisions concerning my life in my lack of consciousness. No other family member is allowed or has any authorization whatsoever to make any decisions, nor am I. I'm fully sane, I'm fully mentally capable, so they have no right to make any decisions, financial or otherwise, concerning my estate or my life or whatever. So back to that naturopath. That naturopath actually does illegal shooting the stuff up in the forehead. Botox. She does illegal Botox parties. And it is connected to a family member that ended up with the business that I started and whatnot. But does some kind of seem to be like on the same brain wavelength, including business stuff that she has put into place that she benefits from, as I am, scared each day that I have stable housing. So, but the reason that I know that she broke HIPAA with that family member, so I decided to not see her because I knew that what I deal with is actually like physical issues. You know, there could be spiritual ties to it. I have no doubt about it. Like, I think it's multiple things. But if you look at the top of my head, it actually looks like an entry-level, freshman-level infectious disease lab. And the symptoms are in line with the disease that was found from Nicaragua and the red tide, as they were treating it heavily to build a canal there at the time that I visited that place. And even my son that I conceived, he ended up dying on an operating table in Helsinki, Finland. They thought they were operating on a spot on his heart that was seen from when he was in my womb. That they called benign tissue because they didn't know what it was. However, when they opened him up in Helsinki, Finland, it had spread all throughout his brain and organs, and what is consistent with the symptoms of rat lungworm, which also is a pathogen that's highly prevalent in the Nicaragua area. And these things have been making me chronically ill ever since, as I've been medically neglected. So the reason that I know for certain that she broke HIPAA with my sister is when I actually was diagnosed with Morgellon from a previous doctor that was going to do the labs so that I could get treatment with a biotoxin specialist that I was set up to see, but she backed out suddenly, and it was very odd how that all went down. It was almost as if she was like blackmailed. And I had actually told some attorneys out of the Missoula area about it, and they asked who my doctor was, and that was right before my care was cut off and I lost medical care. And my condition has gone into relapse, is going more and more into relapse, whereas I had put it into remission. She had, that doctor had, with the use of metformin, mostly was the most significant medication to help me, but also it was stuff that I was able to do the last time that I was in my own secure housing, whereas I was able to make my own teas, my own smoothies, and so for the most part follow an intermittent fasting diet, not eating this stuff, but doing teas, smoothies, and then like appropriate kosher paleo type dinners. So I was able to get myself into remission. And then when I went to the hot springs, the hot springs mineral water did help the shingles related condition on the top of my head. So I was able to work really well in that job. I was able to work with my medical condition to work full time successfully at that job. So it's kind of a shame that, you know, basically I was thrown out of there. But there's other videos that touch on that subject. And I still haven't completed my statement concerning the HIPAA violation. The reason that I know that HIPAA was violated with my sister is because she straight up admitted it. When I got the Mayo Clinic printout concerning Morgellons, it basically made a statement that, you know, Morgellons is a Lyme disease co-infection. It has been solidly proven under the microscope. 100% of Morgellons patients that have the lab work and the proper, diagnostics, labs, the proper investigation of it do turn out to be positive with Lyme. That also is, you know, in Nicaragua. Plus I had exposure, early childhood exposure to biotoxin, like military lab sites, as well as that are built next to nuclear power plants. So again, the reason that I know, when I showed that Mayo Clinic sheet to my sister, and it said that, you know, Morgellons is a Lyme disease co-infection, my sister straight up said, yeah, and I can't say her name, but that this female naturopath basically said, yeah, she could have Lyme disease. So that person was in my dream last night also, and the only detail that I remember is that she was sick, and that there was like a flood of water coming in her home from like, and this could be significant. I need to get into some dream interpretation, and Carl Jung stuff and whatnot, but there was water rushing in from a hole, and the hole actually looked a lot like there was like a weird hole behind the incinerator at the hot springs where I worked down in the basement. But water was rushing in and going into the house, and, you know, in the dream, the determination was that her illness was basically from like, you know, mold mycotoxins and mold allergies. So I just needed to mention those, as I believe that there are links to that stuff. And I believe that the YouTube profiles that I cannot see on the particular reader's site, you know, thinking about cream cheese. I believe that they are involved in key players, most possibly. There's generally not a reason that YouTube profilers would block me unless they are concerned about, you know, my intuition and ability to find the story and find people involved in it. So, you know, I know that basically the karmic is getting some story, trying to flip the story and make it their own, whereas they're the actual like criminal and the fraudulent people involved in it all. But now they're trying to actually put themselves in that position and tell that story for themselves. And so I think that there's something to be seen there actually concerning those YouTube users that comment on her videos. And I go back and forth with this reader. There's a lot of stuff I don't agree about, but at the same time, this reader is picking up on my story, even names of people involved. So it is what it is, you know. I have only had this page up for a few months, but it was because all of my stuff was ruined, and there was a legal violation against me at that last place of employment, and it's having to involve insurance claims and whatnot. And, I've had hacking, and what was up on the cloud when I, looked on the computer at a secure government office, all of the evidence concerning that were videos and files and pictures that were missing, and they all related to the proof of the violation. And so that's a reason I've had to start this page and to upload stuff, was to document it's not betrayal as the word I'm looking for, the violations against me, the targeting, the bullying, the harassment, and my life was in danger, and I knew my life was in danger, and I felt that my life was in danger, and I believe it's being proven that it was, and that the hacking violations are being connected, but it goes a lot bigger than that. It's a network, and like I told the police, these guys are just minions. They are being paid by somebody else, probably with my own money, to try to take me out, sort of a thing. So, anyways, I think I've said everything I need to say concerning all of this, and oh, but what I'm saying is, even though this page is only 3 to 4 years old, the documentation of the hacking and electronic harassment in a legal and medical way has actually been documented since like 2019. And I talk about that in another video, how when I had a tort case attorney referral from somebody that actually is an attorney, and that all of my text messages disappeared and that went away. So this stuff has been documented for that many years. I believe it's been going on a lot longer than that. But, I've been targeted for a very long time, since birth, and it's all really significant. And that's why they try to shut down my story and whatnot. So anyways, just for documentation, and I wish I would have made this earlier on when I would have remembered more details of the dream. But I do remember that those were the 2 individuals that showed up in my dreams, as my dreams were not able to be blocked or taken last night. And I was actually able to remember some dreams. And I think part of the reason I'm remembering dreams is because I'm waking up with extreme numbness in my hands, and it's painful. It's like nerve pain and numbness and whatnot. Eating this stuff doesn't help, and I'm getting ready to change my diet again, but there's other like medical things. Like I kind of finally dropped off because I had been so sick of doing my part when the physicians wouldn't honor their physician's oath and do what they're supposed to do, what their job is. When you have infectious disease that comes from Nicaragua, the infectious disease doctor is supposed to see you and treat you. And if they can't do that, then they shouldn't be getting paychecks. I'm going to give some of these physicians around here another chance to honor their word, and I'm going to make sure to have it documented and recorded, whether they choose to see me or not. But I do want to give them a chance to actually treat me as if my life is important again before my story does become bigger, fully known, and more global. Because I really like this town, and I'm not a person that's vindictive or wishes like harm. I want everyone to be in the upright and be honorable and ethical and do what they're supposed to be doing and what they're getting paid to do. And, not be like medically neglecting, mismanaging, misdiagnosing, and defaming somebody when they don't deserve it. So anyways, I think it's has fed into the defamation and the false lies that have been told throughout my family and throughout the medical industry in this town. And I hope that they'll come correct, because I want things to be fixed before my story is made known, because I believe in this town, and I want them to back up their claim of being a good, friendly town that takes care of people in their community when they have needs. And I have built very significant stuff into this town. So I do believe that I deserve to be treated medically, and that I deserve to have the labs that I need done. It's hard for me to even trust that those labs would be done in a valid way anyways. I feel like there's ways that you could corrupt those results if it is to indeed continue to cover up liability of a situation. But I do want this town and the people that have worked against me in this town to actually turn around and change and treat me as if my life matters and is important and is worth saving. And I believe that I deserve to have that in this town. And so I do intend to, and I'm finally getting the guts together to reapproach those physicians that should be treating me or should have treated me in the past, to give them another chance to honor their physician's oath. So anyways, that's this video for now.